Alright, what's going on, good people? Welcome to this comprehensive tier list video for MLB The Show 19, which has been highly requested by the viewers of my channel. So, just a heads up, this took me a very long time actually. It was a lot of work. So, if you guys don't know who I am or you haven't done this stuff yet, I would really appreciate you to follow me on my stuff. I stream on Twitch at Cbrev. My Twitter is at CbrevMLB. And then obviously if you're seeing this somewhere other than YouTube, my YouTube is CbrevMLB The Show. Would appreciate the support. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like down below. Helps the channel out a lot. Couple things before I get into this. First off being, if you don't know who I am, I'm one of the best players in MLB The Show 19 this year. I've been top 54 out of the 5 seasons that have happened so far. So I've got the full top 50 nameplate. If that puts it into perspective, I'm not saying that to gloat. It's to put into perspective that this tier list is probably pretty accurate as far as power levels of cards go, because I've used a lot of these cards and I've played at the highest level with them. So I know what I'm talking about, is what I'm trying to say. Additionally, I don't think I missed any big names at any position, but if I did, drop a comment down below and I will comment back where that card ranks in my opinion. Like I said, I don't think I missed anyone, but you never know. I'll also put timestamps in the description for every position if you just want to kind of skip through. And if you don't see a card, if it's not a huge name card and you don't see it on the list, it means that I don't think it's worthy of even being mentioned and therefore isn't usable in any capacity. So that might offend someone with some of these, but that's just a heads up of how this is going to work. So with that being said, let's dive deep right into it. Giggity. Alright, catcher. Far and away the best catchers in the game are 95 Brian McCann and 96 Jorge Posada. Both of these cards have amazing swings and get very high exit velocities on good contact, especially compared to the other options that you have at the position. By the way, if you are not sure how to get any of these cards, drop a comment down below. I'm sure me or someone else will help you. But for the most part, you should be able to know where these cards come from, and when in doubt, just check the marketplace, because 90% of the cards are purchasable. So tier 2, we have Pudge Rodriguez. I'm actually on the higher end of optimism for Pudge Rodriguez compared to the community. I don't think he's as bad as people say. He's just not tier 1, mainly because he doesn't hit for much power, and obviously his blocking can be an issue at times. 96 Jason Kendall is free Pudge Rodriguez. I said that in the card review, so same card basically. 99 Mike Piazza is very underwhelming at the plate, very long swing. Jimmy Fox is a really good card, and then 99 Gary Carter, pretty good card. If you don't know, I do card reviews of pretty much everyone on my channel as well, so instead of breaking down each player as I read them as I go through, I'm kind of just going to scan. But if you want a more in-depth analysis of the card, I probably have a video up for the card that I'm talking about. And then tier 3, Team Affinity, Kyle Schwarber, Yadier Molina, Russell Martin, and Benito Santiago. First baseman. There's only really 2 options in my opinion, which is Frank Thomas and Lou Gehrig, mostly because they're pretty easy to get. They're righty-lefty, and you should probably have both of them in your lineup / bench regardless. But I did want to mention that 99 Paul Goldschmidt is an amazing card and also worthy of tier 1. Maybe instead of 1C, I should have put like 1M because he's pretty far below Frank Thomas and Lou Gehrig, but still a very, very good first baseman. Tier 2 is 94 Travis Hafner, 98 Keith Hernandez, and Player of the Month Josh Bell. Tier 3 is 94 Eddie Murray, 99 Joey Votto, and 99 Willie McCovey. I really do not like the Joey Votto card at all, and Willie McCovey doesn't get the best exit velos either. Second baseman, there's only really one choice in my opinion. If you're looking for the best team possible, that's Roberto Alomar. Far and away the best second baseman in the game, hands down, without question. Tier 2 gets a little crazy. If you follow my stream, this probably isn't crazy for you, but Team Affinity Ben Zobrist, in my opinion, is one of the best hitters in the game, period. I don't care what his stats say. And one thing I forgot to mention before is I'm not including secondary positions in any of these. Each position is if that player was their primary position. So on my main account, I actually play Ben Zobrist at shortstop. Obviously, he can play any position on the field except catcher, but he's in the second base tier list because that's his primary position. Additionally, Robinson Cano, very, very good card. Actually, all of these cards in Tier 2 are pretty amazing. They're just not Roberto Alomar, so they kind of struggle there. So, and then Tier 3, Pedroia Kinsler, tops now, Ketel Marte. He's not a primary second baseman, but I wouldn't ever really play him in the outfield, so I kind of just threw him in second base. He's really a pretty good switch hitting card. And then a 98 Rod Carew. So next is third base. Tier 1 consists of George Brett, Evan Longoria, and Rogers Hornsby. I was highly impressed with the Evan Longoria card when I tried him, mainly because his defense was incredible. He's got a nice swing, hits for a lot of power, so I do think he's Tier 1. And then obviously Rogers Hornsby has some of the best stats in the game. The community consensus is that George Brett is the best third baseman in the game, and I would tend to agree with that if you need to know who's number one. Also, I forgot to mention, there's A's and B's in some of these tiers, but if there isn't any letters in front of the cards, it means I think they're roughly interchangeable, or around the same power level, just so you guys know. Tier 2 would be Wade Boggs, Josh Donaldson, Edgar Martinez, and Matt Williams. Tier 3, Brooks Robinson, or as I like to call him, Pool Noodle, because he can't hit anything, Aubrey Huff, and Matt Carpenter. Shortstop. Obviously, the best shortstop in the game is Honus Wagner, without question, but it's not really realistic for most people, so he's in a tier of his own at 1A, but you have several other options available to you at this position. Mainly Cal Ripken and Omar Vizquel, I think, are the two best shortstops in the game besides Honus Wagner. For Tier 2, Hanley Ramirez, Troy Tulowitzki, and Ozzie Smith have all performed very well for me. I just don't think they're on the same level as Ripken and Vizquel. And then Tier 3, you have 96 Michael Young, the Jose Reyes from the Mets Team Affinity, and Ernie Banks. Down at the bottom, I said notables missing, which is Louis Aparicio and Alan Trammell. Both of those cards are atrocious. But in case someone was wondering where they are, I didn't feel that they should be included because I don't think they're Tier 3 or higher. Alright, so now we're going to get into outfield. I pooled outfield all together because really most outfielders are interchangeable between any outfield position, so I kind of just put it all in one big slide. So let's get into it. So outfield, Willie Mays, no surprise there. Tony Gwynn, no surprise there. 99 Ty Cobb is one of the best outfielders in the game, hands down, in my opinion. Same with Al Kaline. Those are probably the two that you may not have been expecting to see in Tier 1, but both of those cards are incredible. I've said before that I don't value arm strength very much, and Ty Cobb is better than Tony Gwynn in everything except arm strength. So that's why I think he is unquestionably Tier 1. He also hits for significantly more power than Tony Gwynn, even though his power ratings are only like 13 more. I hit way more home runs with Ty Cobb than I do with Tony Gwynn. As far as Al Kaline goes, he has incredible hitting stats, obviously the high contact, high vision, around 90s power, and he plays surprisingly incredible defense for only having 64 speed. He has really high fielding ratings, which helps him get good jumps on the ball in the outfield, so the speed doesn't really hurt him that much. And the reason I include him in Tier 1 is because obviously he rakes and his fielding is Tier 1 as well. So Al Kaline, one of the most underrated and well-rounded outfielders in the game. Obviously you got 99 Griffey, and then the big surprise here, if you don't know me from before, is 97 Richie Ashburn. In my opinion, one of the best hitters in the game, probably the best swing in the game. Check him out if you haven't. Tier 2, we got a whole lot of people. Some of the notables is Joey Gallo, who rakes, and I really like the 97 Carlos Gonzalez as well. That card performed way above expectations for me. Tier 3, some notables. The big one is 99 Ricky Henderson. I do not think Ricky Henderson is good in this game at all. He really struggles to hit for power or even get on base when I used him. And specifically against righties, it just seems like he can never get anything done. So I really do not like Ricky Henderson. On the positive note of Tier 3, I think that Dante Bichette's really good, and I think that Adam Jones and Justin Upton are some of the best lower tier outfielders that you can have. But there's so many options at outfield. If you're dipping into Tier 3, it's got to be for stub issues, because there's so many guys in Tier 2 that you could go after, and in Tier 1 as well. So next is starting pitcher, which is what really spawned me making this video. Someone had asked for my tier list for starters and relievers. And starters and relievers are a little different because pitching is the most important part to have strength with in your team, in my opinion. I would take budget hitters and expensive pitchers over the other way around every time. So there's some guy. I'm a little more picky with the tier lists with pitchers because you only have 5 slots for starters and you only have 7 slots for relievers. So it's really important that you're maximizing each one of those slots. You don't really want to have a 5th starter that you don't want to pitch with, that you're not comfortable with, and you don't want to be in a situation where your bullpen's tired and you have to go to a guy that you don't really like because you just had to fill in that 7th spot. So I try to give you guys some diverse options, more than you should need, but I made sure that the Tier 2s were a little more condensed because it's really important to have good players in this position. So starting pitchers, the best 3 in the game that should be in every run's rotation without question, if stubs aren't a problem, is obviously 99 Clayton Kershaw is the best pitcher in the game. Bob Feller is not far behind him, but still worse than Kershaw. And 95 Wainwright is behind the other 2, but still far and away better than the other options. So there's 3 of your 5 rotation there if you're looking for the best team possible. Tier 2, your choices are Corey Kluber, Blyleven, Greinke, Lefty Grove, Chris Sale, and 92 Oral Hershiser. And then Tier 3, you might see some familiar names. Like I said, I'm being kind of harsh with the tier. I meant Tier 3. I'm being kind of harsh with the tier ratings, but some of these guys I'll talk about. I think Nolan Ryan sucks. I think Bob Gibson sucks. I think Justin Verlander is okay. And the other guys are kind of just okay as well. There's potential for David Price to move up to Tier 2. I haven't gotten enough reps with him yet, but so far so good with him. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably be doing one of these videos about once a month or so. So look out for that. But yeah, I would definitely get these 3 in Tier 1, and then I would just pick 2 of the guys in Tier 2, and that would give you the best rotation possible, in my opinion. People often ask me, like, should I do Kluber or Greinke, or I have 300K, who should I buy? Really, it's up to you. I think that all these guys in Tier 2 are interchangeable, which is why they don't have letters in front of their name. They're all roughly about the same power level. So if you want an extra lefty, pick up Lefty Grove. If you like throwing slow curveballs, pick up Blyleven and Greinke. It's really up to your play style, but they're kind of around the same as far as usability in the game. And then finally, we're going to go to bullpen. Tier 1, these are the 5 guys that you should have in your bullpen no matter what if you're looking for the best team possible. Kenley Jansen is far and away the best closer in the game. He's head and shoulders above everyone else available. If you don't have Kenley Jansen in your bullpen, you're making a huge mistake. I know he's 150K, but man, the card is untouchable. I think he has less than a 1 ERA for me in like 60 innings online. Second best is 98 Eric Gagne. Obviously, this card is crazy expensive. I think he's up to like 350K, but he is the second best reliever in the game. And then the other guys in Tier 1, Billy Wagner, the new Sergio Romo, and Andrew Miller. So like I said, if you can, I would fill out your bullpen with these 5 guys. Maybe drop Gagne and only do 4 of them if you can't afford them. And then I would be looking at taking or filling out the rest of your bullpen with some tier 2 guys. So if you need a lefty, 87 Zach Britton or the 95 Aroldis Chapman. And then as far as righties go, you got Goose Gossage, Percival, Eckersley, Kimbrel, Fingers, and Nen. Personally, out of those righties, I would say that the best three are Kimbrel, Eckersley, and Percival. If you're looking for righties, that's just my opinion. So finally, we're going to go into some mock teams. I'm going to show you guys what the best team possible is in a condensed form based on these rankings. I'm also going to go into the best budget lineup that you can make with these rankings, and then finally what my squad is currently looking like. So the best team possible based on these ratings, and I also set the lineup the way that I would set the lineup. So we're alternating lefty-righty. We've got speed at the top of the lineup. We've got guys that can drive in runs in the middle of the order. So this is really how I would roll with this team if I was to have the best team possible. So just take a look at this. As you can see, I still have Zobrist on the bench. I really think the Zobrist is amazing, especially on the bench because he can play every position, and you never know when you're going to need a defensive replacement. Let's say you really need to have an advantage at the plate as far as lefty-righty, so you pinch hit Al Kaline for George Brett. Well, Al Kaline can't play third base, so you can slide Zobrist in there after the inning is over. So just a lot of versatility and rakes at the plate, like I said. If I had unlimited stubs, I would go Kershaw, Feller, Wainwright, Sale, and Kluber. And then my bullpen would be Percival, Chapman, Gagne, Miller, Romo, Wagner, and Jansen. This is the best budget lineup that you can get. I didn't include pitchers here because almost every pitcher that's tier 3 or above in both rotation and bullpen costs a lot of stubs. So obviously the market agrees with me that pitchers are the most important part of your team, but there aren't any guys that I listed for pitchers that are below like 40K. So you're just going to have to bite the bullet and try to get some stubs up and get these pitchers. Obviously you could have Kershaw and Ryan as well, but I tried to do this under the assumption that you're a level 1 bronze, because you never know if someone's just a silver level and they took Brooks Robinson at silver 1 because they are an Orioles fan or whatever. They might not have access to these cards such as Frank Thomas, Tony Gwynn, Kershaw, stuff like that. So take a look at this lineup. All these guys are pretty much under 40K except for Ashburn's around 50K I think now, but he is a tier 1 outfielder like I said, so it's worth it. Good bang for your buck there. Obviously Kendall's free, Edmonds is free, Hunter is free. So pretty solid lineup, honestly. This lineup in total would cost you probably around like 150K, which is really cheap for an entire lineup. So not bad there. And then finally, this is what I'm currently doing on my squad. I like batting a switch hitter leadoff and 8-hole because it allows me a lot of flexibility with pinch hitting. If I have a righty in the 8-hole and a righty in the 1 spot, then I'm kind of forced to pinch hit a lefty all the time, which I don't like. I just like the dynamic of switch hitting at leadoff and 8-hole. And then I have Cobb, Mays, Gehrig, Kaline, McCann, and Hornsby. You can see I have Kaline and Cobb starting over Gwynn and Griffey Jr. I'm probably in the minority of that, but that just speaks volumes of how good I think Ty Cobb and Al Kaline are. And then for my rotation, I'm rocking with Kluber and Blyleven. The same as the best team possible. I just have Blyleven in over Sale because I'm not going to spend 450K on a starting pitcher. And I haven't gone 12-0 yet since he came out. And as far as the bullpen, it's exactly the same as the best squad possible, but I actually sub in Eckersley for Percival just because in the ranked seasons grind, I do value a guy with high stamina in case I need to get 2 or 3 innings out of him without burning through my bullpen. So I hope this video was helpful for y'all. Let me know down in the comments section below what you think of this video, what I can improve upon, any suggestions as far as players if you disagree with me, all that good stuff. So Like I said, this took a long time. I hope you guys enjoy this stuff. Drop a like and subscribe on the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.